We are back. Season 4 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs podcast. I'm Brett. Along with me is 2 other hosts and a producer. For those of you who are new to the podcast, we like to showcase breweries, their beers, and conclude every episode with a thematic-ish conversation. If you're a casual listener or a seasoned vet, you know what to expect. Producers continue to change short episodes, but the same old connoisseurs will continue to provide top-tier content every single episode. Please feel free to listen to all of our previous episodes and producer specials to get an insight into all of the breweries and beers we've mostly enjoyed. And whether you're new or returning, we are pleased to be your favorite craft beer podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untapped, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now, for today's episode. Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Brett.
I'm Tyler.
And well, I guess for a short one.
Chris? Well, we talked about this at the end of last season, season 3, that Chris is still with us.
He is.
He's not gone completely.
He's having trouble with his voice.
Yeah, a little bit of laryngitis. Yes. No, he will be back on some episodes. It's going to be a little touch and go for him to make every episode right now.
It's going to be like a little, be one here, one there.
Yeah.
He's going to be a special guest.
He'd
be nice.
Yeah. And we might want to look at, putting in some guest hosting.
Yes.
If we know he's not going to be here for an episode, we might want to reach out to the community and see if somebody else.
Maybe a producer would probably put his voice in the podcast.
Yeah, unlikely.
No, that's fine.
These things, you can't trust these producers. We've done this before.
Yeah, exactly.
But we do have a producer today.
We do, yeah. And be rest assured, your favorite connoisseur of glassware will be back before you know it.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So instead of Chris, we have producer Wesley.
Yeah, we would have had a producer either way.
Well, I know, but still, Wesley's here.
It's funny, though, because as soon as the producer got here, they just took the position of where Chris would sit, right?
I know, right?
A little more comfier, gets the host bushy spot,
Less rotation, though.
A little less rotation.
Less rotation.
It's weird because I just am so used to looking to my right and seeing 2 hosts. And now
you're looking to your right and you see me, and it's like, eesh.
Well, I always still did.
I know, but it's just me now.
Well, no, now the producer's over there. What I'm saying is the producer's to the left of me. I would never have to look left. I wouldn't have to look at the producers ever.
It's true.
It's a blessing. Whereas you kind of had where you sit.
I was going to say, I'm not a blessing at all.
You're not. But we do have an episode to get to.
Absolutely.
So in today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Broken Rail Brewing out of St. Mary's, Ontario.
Yes. And as always, if you're new to the podcast, we have 2 beers in today's episode. The first is Tesla's Revenge, which is a New England IPA. And the second one is Garde Your Beer, which is a Biere de Garde. So a translation for that is beer for keeping. And we'll get into a little bit of the history about that when we have the beer.
Okay. And to finish off the episode, we're going to be talking about our curling experiences.
I guess so.
This is still summertime.
Yeah, we likes to curl. We like to curl.
Prep for the winter.
Yes.
Hurry hard.
Broken Rail is located at 480 Glass Street, just on the outskirts, some would say, of St. Mary's, and was opened in February of 2021. Myself being one of the very first customers in that lineup that day.
Naturally.
Oh, of course, right? It was a brewery 20 minutes away from my house. Of course I'm going to go see it and check it out.
Yes.
And thank goodness it was a mild February day, so my wife and Chuck could stay in the car while I stayed in line. It was only like 5 minutes. It was good.
Did you put the windows down?
I don't remember that, actually, if the windows were down.
Just no fresh air.
And I'm sure my wife would have figured it out.
There you go. So Broken Rail is owned by the husband and wife team of Ryan and Aaron Lehman, and the building is situated in the iconic St. Mary's Junction railway station. It's kind of interesting.
Yes.
I mean, why didn't they name the brewery after it?
I don't know.
I mean, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Which was built for the Grand Trunk Railway back in 1858. We talk a lot about trains on this podcast. I'm thinking about this now.
Big train guys.
Yeah. The building was recognized in 1973 as a National Historic Site, had been abandoned for decades, and Ryan and Aaron, being craft beer lovers themselves, saw an opportunity to bring life back into the building to be kind of, a staple for the community.
Yes.
And a staple it has become.
It is. It is true, especially for producer Wesley.
I was going to say.
And we'll get into that in a little bit.
It's a secondary home, I feel
I think so.
You know?
I'm pretty sure he does pay rent. Anyway.
He should if he doesn't.
Yeah.
We got to talk to these guys and say,
exactly.
hey, you guys start
There's an
charging
income
rent.
stream that you guys are missing, let me tell you.
100%.
Yeah. So Broken Rail was established with the goal of keeping the historic station alive, and the team has done an excellent job in doing so with the craftsmanship of the tables, the chairs, the counters, and heck, even the floors. Those floors
Big
look spotless.
floor fan, eh?
Yeah, those floors look spotless every single time I go in there.
It's because producer Wesley's in there mopping those things just to pay off his rent.
Yeah, I think so. And then if on the outside, there's a big 1,200 square foot patio in the summertime and wintertime, if you like braving the elements. Provides a great hub for the area and an excuse to tell your significant other that you're taking your dog to the dog park because the dog park's literally right beside.
I thought you were going to say it's a good excuse to tell your significant other to stay in the car with your child.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I've done it a couple times where I've like I said,
a couple of times.
Hey, my wife. I'm not gonna say her name, but anyway, it's like I'm gonna go to the dog park, and then 15 minutes or an hour and a half later, I come home. It's like, oh, that was a long trip to the dog park. Yeah, long drive.
Long drive. Long drive,
Right?
for sure. So we could get into a bit more about the brewery here.
Yes. So as we kind of mentioned, Broken Rail might be a local stopping point for some of us, including producer Wesley. I've never had a bad experience there. Staff's always been polite, friendly. Ryan and I have had some conversations before, just shooting general stuff about beer and everything else, and we still did talk about maybe having a collab.
That'd be fun.
Insert music.
Is there any music for that?
I think so. You'll find something.
Well, see what we could do. So yeah, you guys have actually been together.
Yes, we have a couple times. Yes.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, I think you were doing something that day.
Must have been.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like work or just like, just not around.
I probably was doing work, and you and the producer probably weren't. Correct. Yeah, that makes.
I believe I was there after a round of golf one day with him. Wow. Yeah. Then we went through a ball together. It was a good bonding experience.
That is cute.
Yeah. Have you been to Broken Rail?
I have been.
Okay,
but
good.
I didn't go with you two cuties.
Yeah.
Didn't want to
There's
make it
a good reason for that.
Didn't want to make it a throuple.
Who you actually went there with?
I went by myself, bud.
Look at you.
I don't need to be a throuple. I'm okay with who I am.
All right.
All right. So on Untapped, let's talk about some of their beers that they have. Right. So they have 86 on Untapped. And that's kind of, 2.5 years with an average rating of a 3.65 out of 5. So average-ish.
Yep.
A little bit higher than my personal average. So there's some good beers that are being pumped out.
And around my personal average. Let's say a little bit around.
Yeah, a little bit around.
Yes.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about some of those check-ins,
Yes.
right?
So myself, I've had 32 check-ins. And my highest rated is the Chocolate Factory Stout. So I'm pretty sure it was an Imperial Stout of around 9.5%. And I give it a 4.25 out of 5.
32. That is a huge number.
Just you wait.
Number.
It's a good number.
I don't think anybody could beat it.
Yeah, it's a good number, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be one person here that's going to beat it.
So let's.
And it was a collab with the Chocolate Factory in St. Mary's. Producer Wesley coming in and being like,
doing his job.
That's what he's here for. We will mention Chris's.
Talk about Chris.
Yeah,
we should talk about Chris.
Yeah, Chris's check-ins. He's had 6 of them, and his highest rated was Gosa Off the Rails at a 4.25.
What kind of beer do you think that was?
I'm gonna go with a blood orange stout.
You missed the opportunity to say I'm gonna goza with a goza.
Yeah, probably was a goza.
Yeah. For myself, I have 11 check-ins, and the highest rated was the Kiev Not Kiev, which we actually had on the producer special.
Correct. Yes.
So if you want to listen to that episode, by all means, go back and do a little search for it. And Slippery Rail, which was at 3.75. Now the producer.
Yes. Do you want to shoot at this number? Or?
Yeah, I'll shoot my shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a high number.
It's not bad. The producer. So Brett, you had 32.
That's correct.
If you add 1 or 2 to that, you get nowhere close.
Yes.
You add 40. You add 40 to it, and you get bang on 72 check-ins.
Now that's 72 out of 86.
Yes.
And the funniest thing about this, hasn't had their stout.
Yeah. A staple.
A staple.
A staple in the community, a staple for the
So you know what he's doing. He's going to probably go there today and get the stout.
There, yeah. True. So the highest rated was the Biere My Valentine at 4.5, which was a chocolate raspberry pale ale. Now, did you guys have that together?
No.
I'm surprised.
I'm pretty sure producer Wesley did pick it up for me, though.
Yeah.
Or maybe I picked it up myself. I don't know.
Yeah,
Can't remember.
You picked it up for everybody.
Yeah. And I think that one was actually one where we had kind of 4 scores really
all over the place.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Obviously, his was the highest.
I just thought, on your cute date, you guys would have finished off with a pint of something romantic.
Yeah, we did. It was called Tesla's.
That is adorable.
Okay,
Talk about the food trucks.
Yes, you know me. I like to eat, right? So the property actually has a lot of space for food trucks, and they definitely utilize that on weekends for sure. Trivia nights, and as just stated, earlier, it's kind of just an overall sense of community within Broken Rail and their beers. So a lot of the restaurants in town, the golf courses, etc., they all carrying Broken Rail stuff. Most places in town you can find some Broken Rail either on tap or in cans.
For a second there, we had the producer pull out Mitch McConnell and got halfway through a sentence and stopped typing. And I was like, come on, we need the intel. What do you want here?
I don't even know who that guy is, but okay.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I feel like I need to be...
Watch the news once in a while.
Why would we watch the news?
The comment that was provided by Wesley was that there's also a rail card at the location, which really brings to the ambiance and the experience of being there. So any train enthusiasts, it's something to definitely check out, which is right beside that massive patio that we were talking about. So that's good. Now, if you want some of their beers, there's a way to do it. You can go ahead and order, the beers from Broken Rail online. Yep. Delivery is calculated at the checkout depending on the size of the order and your location, which is nice. I mean, exactly. They're not going to go ahead and just do a flat rate for everybody, so everybody's paying what they're supposed to be paying. Yes. But you can also go down to the brewery.
That would just be a great idea, I think.
It's
producer Wesley's going to be there probably.
I'm thinking if this trend continues in the next 2.5 years, let's say, hypothetically, we get to 5-year mark-ish, they might do a bronze statue.
Yes.
Of producer Wesley sitting at a picnic table.
Holding a toy train.
Toy train in the left hand, pint in the right.
Yes, I think so.
There you go.
And they do actually have also some really good merchandise to check out. Sweaters and hats.
Do you have any of their merch?
I do have a shirt, actually.
Yeah, Wesley? Wesley does not have any of the merch. Yeah. Too busy just slamming the pints,
my
can't put a shirt on.
Might have shrunk in the dryer. So it might not be a suitable fit for me anymore, so it has become my wife's. But that is fine.
Very good.
It was my mistake to put it in the dryer anyway. Speaking of the hours at the brewery, though, Tuesday to Thursday, 12 to 9, Friday to Saturday, 12 to 10, and Sunday, 12 to 6.
Yeah, very good. All right, we're going to link their information on our social media, so if you need to find anything about Broken Rail, by all means, you can go through us or you can go to them directly. We don't really care.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, exactly. And let's hop on the train and let's have the first beer. A big shout out and thank you to Ryan for providing the beers for today's episode.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate that.
Did we give the producer a shout out for picking them up or no?
No.
I don't think so.
It's one less clap, though. The loudness of the clap depreciates one.
Well, I can make my clap louder.
You could. Your clap is pretty loud.
Yeah, but I'm not going to. So, the first beer is Tesla's Revenge, which is a New England IPA. 6.1% ABV, and the IBUs are unlisted.
Yeah, they are. So, let's tell you a little bit about the beer. Well, maybe the story behind it, kind of.
Yes.
Let's do that. The story behind the beer is that in the late 1880s, Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla were involved in a shocking battle known as the War of Currents. Edison had developed direct current, you might know that as DC, while Tesla believed the alternating current, AC, was superior. Today, instead of war, we see these two systems working in parallel. Ooh, like a parallel circuit. To power different things. As people reflect on the shocking tale, enjoy a different shock from this IPA. I think we use shocked way too much in this, with its hoppy flavors and aromas.
So the one thing is that it's literally from...
I know it's on the can. I know it's on the can.
And there is another thing is that I wish there was more AC in here right now.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is,
She's a little warm here.
She's a little toasty.
But I think, there's shocking, a little bit too much. We should have, created a little bit of a spark with it.
Yeah, fair enough. The beer itself, on the taste. We've got the story. We're talking about the taste.
Potential taste.
Yes, potential taste. Is a soft and juicy IPA with tropical aromas and flavors like pineapple, peach, mango, and an approachable pine bitterness.
Oh.
All right. So you can follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons and on Untappd at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. The rating for Tesla's Revenge is 3.79 out of 5 and 450 check-ins. Producer Wesley coming in hot.
A lot of info coming here.
They might be all his check-ins. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's 4 or 5 out of 5s.
Yep.
The can is 3.77. The draft is 3.8. And the taster is 3.83. All right. We apparently have 5 friends.
Well, good for us.
Who've had this beer on Untappd. And they've rated it in a grand total of 4.20.
Now, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think what this is Wesley has 5 friends.
That's more than what I thought. So,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just thinking because Wesley wasn't logged into our
Yeah, no,
Craft Beer
I'm getting
Connoisseurs
that.
on
Yeah,
tap.
follow enough.
So we might want to look into doing that actually.
Yeah,
is logging into ours and then seeing what our friends have.
You know what? We could do that while you describe something that you like to do.
This is season 4. We need something new. Let's do that. Let's talk about what our friends are. You know,
all of them, all the friends.
All right. So speaking of friends, I guess we can consider Wesley one of ours. It is a staple of Wesley's, especially after curling at the local St.Mary's Curling Club, which is going to tie things in nicely for it.
This is true.
Hit us with that info. I can see you just licking your lips.
Yeah, mostly because I'm thirsty.
Fair enough.
All right. Need some Jeopardy music.
That's fine. You know what we're going to do? We're going to grab our glass. You can put that down for now.
Oh. We're here. We're here. 29.
29 friends.
Yes, 29 friends.
Hey, what's the overall with our friends?
3.96.
Okay, so a little less than the 4.20. So that happens. That
does.
happens. All right. So let's grab our glass. Let's grab our can. Thanks for that. Let's make that a staple going in to future episodes. Let's do that friend thing. I like that.
I think we did it a little bit a couple of years ago and then kind of got out of it. So
let's
now
bring
we're
it
going to make
back.
sure that we're going to bring it back and it's here to stay.
Put that in that WhatsApp producer chat, Wesley, if you could, so future producers know what they're doing. All right, glass in hand, can in the other hand, and let's open her up. All right, so we are drinking this. Oh my goodness, I feel so honored to do this. This one's for you, Chris. We're drinking out of an IPA glass, so please use your proper glassware. Now, the glassware that we have here is not just proper, it is proper. What I mean by that?
Cleaned.
What I mean by that is we've got the Broken Rail Special IPA glass. So Wesley hasn't bought a shirt or a sweater or a hat, but has bought the glassware, which makes sense because anything to use as that vessel is...
In his defense, he's probably using the glass a lot more than he would wear the shirt or the hat or the sweater or anything
That's true.
else.
That is true. That is true.
I see where he's coming from. He
Brett,
gets it.
Let's talk about what this beer looks like. How about that?
It looks like a nice, prototypical New England IPA.
Yeah.
Right?
Got a little honeydew color.
Absolutely.
A little nice golden hair surprise, if you will. What do you got on the nose there? What are you smelling?
Getting a little bit of, obviously, that pineapple and a peach, as mentioned. More so the pineapple.
Okay.
A little bit of honeydew, too.
Getting a little mango?
Yeah. A little mango. Yeah,
okay.
A little mango, yes.
So it, I don't want to say necessarily juice bomb, right? I mean,
I don't think it's getting directly into the juice bomb territory, but it's close.
Yeah,
very
just on the nose,
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
nose, right? Decent head retention on it when we poured it, so you can see that in our picture. Yeah.
And I think
You said you were thirsty.
I'm very thirsty, and there's no water around, so I guess I'm gonna have to have this, right?
You must. Simply, you must.
Simply,
I will
must have
twist
it.
your arm.
Oh, damn!
I love how you actually made the motion for it for everybody at home.
For everybody who's watching us, which is literally none of you.
Exactly. You start drinking, I'll keep on talking. So, again, you can't really see through it. It's got a little bit of haziness to it, which is nice. Yeah, there's a lot of carbonation. Just by,
it is well carbonated
by looking at it, right? So, I'm excited to taste it myself again because we have had this.
Yes, we have had this one before. What I will say is it's definitely a thirst quencher, if you will, of an IPA, in my opinion. This is usually a staple in my fridge. I usually always have a couple of these on hand. This is an IPA at the end of the day. Like, you want something that you can trust, you can rely on.
Sure.
And Tesla's Revenge is that IPA for me.
Yeah. So what are you getting there? I'm getting a little bit of bitterness myself. I found that when I first had this beer, I did think it was a little bit too bitter. I like a little bit more of the fruits to kind of come through.
Yeah. The one thing about it is it's listed as New England IPA, but at the end of the day, it kind of goes in that West Coast style. That pine, like a
There's a little bit of pininess to it.
It's almost like it's like a beer in, like, I don't know, Ohio, right? Like it's enough east, but might be going a little west.
Okay. All right.
I'm just trying to think of
it's
directly down the middle.
Almost like a Midwest IPA?
Maybe.
Is that what you're trying to go with?
Maybe. Is Ohio Midwestern states?
Yeah, we're getting there.
I don't.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Could have said Illinois. That probably would have mattered. I know Illinois is Midwestern.
There you go.
Indiana. See? We could just knock down all 50 states.
Yeah. So I get that. There's a little bit of bitterness to it, a little bit of piney. I get a bit of the the pineapple-ish melony kind of like feel to it. Again, just because there's that bitter for me it's a little bit kind of not overpowering, but it's there. It's present, right?
I think it's a good, and you're gonna like this word, hybrid beer between a New England and a West Coast.
It's the Midwest.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of hybrids in the Midwest.
Let's talk about the top 5 flavor profiles here. So, number 1, juicy.
It's on the top 5, but not number 1 for me.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. Number 2, hoppy.
I think I'm getting a lot of the hop flavor from this. I'm going to give this numero uno.
Okay, yeah, I think that the flavors that are not necessarily the bitterness part of it are coming through in the hops.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think it's hoppy might be in the 2 spot. Okay. 3, piney.
Yeah, that's number 2 for me. Because you are getting it definitely on that back end, and that's coming from the carbonation as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel a little bit of the piney. Yeah. 4, aromatic.
Yep, that's exactly where it needs to be for me.
Okay. And 5, bitter.
Same.
Yeah, for me, I'd move bitter up.
Okay.
If we're talking about like the ranking of them, I'd probably put bitter in the 3 spot and move piney down. I'd move juicy down as well, maybe to like the 3, 4. So a lot of 3s.
I think it's one of those things where in that top 5, you're kind of seeing that's the 5 flavor profiles. Just people are kind of mixing them around.
Yeah.
Right.
And with respect to the juiciness of it, I'm picking up some of that, as I said, like the pineapple, a little bit of the melony kind of aspect of it. I'd like it to be a little bit more juicy.
Yes. Fair enough.
But again, that's not what this beer is, right?
No.
And I'm not the brewer, so I understand that. They brewed it, they like it. I like it as well. But for me, it's like it would be nice if it just had a little bit more juice punch.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
All right, so there's other people that are on tap besides us.
Yeah.
And they have some thoughts on this beer too. So
Do they?
Tyler, you have the very first one.
Oh, lucky me.
Yes.
The first one for season 4. Should mention that. I don't think we've talked about this being the first episode.
This is the first episode of season
nearly
4.
enough. You know, Robert W. The handle is Daddy maybe.
Dad or W?
Dadder, maybe.
Yeah, Dadder, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Wow, an almost perfect IPA. The nose is amazing, fruity, piney, crisp IPA. Best smelling IPA I've had. The taste follows the nose perfectly, exactly what you'd hope for. Great brew. Not perfect brew. 4.75 out of 5.
Because if it was perfect, it'd be 5.
Yeah, good for you.
Right?
You're picking this up quick in season 4.
It only took me 4 seasons, but I got her.
I'm surprised with that kind of review.
Right?
Being the best smelling and the taste following. I
It's one
thought
of those
that'd
things
be 5.
And almost perfect. Great brew.
I just wonder if Robert, gives out a lot of 5s or not, because with that kind of
have to
review, I would think
go
that
check,
probably not.
see what his average rating is. But, it is what it is.
Brett, you got the next one, bud.
I do. And this one comes from Pete R, and his handle is IPA Pete 1970. I'm going to assume that Pete was born in 1970 and is a big fan of IPAs.
You might be right.
I could be correct on that. And he stated
Or
that
he's had 1,970 of them.
Oh, good call.
And then not changing his name at all. He's done. No
Imagine
more
every single
IPAs.
time you have an IPA, you have to go in and change your handle. He stated that this is a very smooth IPA and would recommend buying more. The one thing that we kind of noticed...
Good recommendation, yeah.
What he noticed, kind of going through the Untapped check-ins, I don't know if this is just the local community of St. Mary's or whatever, but not a whole lot of comments made with the beer, checking in Tesla's Revenge, but lots of check-ins.
I can respect that, though.
Yeah,
I don't really throw comments in my
No.
check-ins,
You like to just say, this is
what I have,
1,200
this is what it
check-in
is.
or whatever, right? Like, that's going to...
Oh, yeah, only when it's a milestone. I'll put
exactly,
a comment in
right?
there.
And he rated it a 3.75 out of 5.
All right. On to our ratings. First ratings for season 4. I love how every time I'm waiting for you to say something, you're drinking. Like, it's just like I'm waiting for like a follow-up. You got to remember, Chris can't carry you anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is why we usually have 3.
All right, so I'm going to start our ratings off. I'm going to give it a 3.5, which is exactly what I've given it before. I've only had it out of the can. I'd be interested to have this off the tap. But
I think maybe...
no, I will not go hang out with you. I'm
Damn it.
disappointed by what you and Wesley pulled before.
Okay, I knew you would be.
Yep.
What happens if producer Wesley, myself, and you go?
No,
No?
I'm not being part of that throuple. I told you.
Okay, then who are you going to go with?
I'll go with myself.
Awkward. Anyway, I was
Who do you think Wesley's got? Wesley's been by himself for about 50% of those beers.
It's true. after a nice bike ride.
Yeah, a swell bike ride.
Yes. Needs to freshen up with a refreshment from Broken Rail.
What he needs to do is show up with that bike, but put like 3 or 4 different like kind of carriers behind him, so he's his own little train, and go around the town.
Yeah, Broken Rail should have like one of those bike carts, like where like the ice cream people in the back with the bike. And producer Wesley could be that guy.
Could be that guy.
Just biking downtown, selling Broken Rail beers for $5.
You mean it's not licensable, but we can figure it away.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
There is.
Anyway, I've rated this a 4, and I'm obviously going to stick with my rating of a 4. Again, this is a really good IPA, a staple in my fridge. Always got to have 1 or 2 of these after a nice. It's a good after lawn mowing beer.
Sure.
I find.
Or during.
Oh well, my lawn's huge, so can't really have it during. I've been trying to convince my wife to get a riding lawnmower.
Oh yeah.
And I currently have not won that.
I was gonna say you could
discussion.
just piggyback on your wife and get her to push them all around. Then there's your riding lawnmower.
Oh, good call. Good call. Good call. Yeah, she doesn't mow the lawn. Anyway. Producer Wesley, he's, again, had it a few times, and he gives it a 4.25. He's sticking with that rating. Chris, unfortunately, has not had this beer.
Chris would give this a 3.75. If I know Chris,
yeah, if I know Chris,
he'd sit at 3.75 with this one.
Especially with that proper glassware, too.
Oh, 100%.
Right? But we're not going to add Chris's rating into our ratings here. So that gives us a overall score of 3.91.
Does, yeah.
Which we are going to round up.
Yeah, we can round that up.
To 4.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
It's the first one.
First one. That's a good start.
It is. It is a good start. All right. So, shall we maybe move on to the next one?
I'm thinking that's a great idea.
Let's do that. All right. We're back. And we're better than ever?
Is that a shot at Chris or no?
No. Oh, come on now. You're better than that.
Oh, so then we're not better.
All right, touche. The second beer we are having is Garde Your Beer, which is Biere de Garde. Biere de Garde is translated as beer for keeping. Mm-hmm. I wonder how long they've kept this before they gave it to us.
At least a couple weeks.
We'll have to check again. It is a 6.8% ABV. And again, the IBUs are unlisted.
Yes. So the name Biere de Garde roughly translates again to beer for keeping. It's a reference to the old practice of brewing a stronger beer to store as provision for the warmer months of the year, when conditions were not as hospitable for brewing. Pardon me. Before mechanical refrigeration, brewers made beer during the cooler months to be served within a few weeks of brewing. These brews made early in the season were intended for immediate consumption and tended to be lower in alcohol content, so typically 3 to 4% by volume.
Okay.
Toward the end of the brewing season, it was not uncommon for the last brews of the season to be made stronger to allow them to be stored during the rest of the year. The higher alcohol content would have helped retard spoilage during months of storage. A similar practice applied to, a saison, right? So a Belgian specialty ale, which also originated on farmhouse breweries in the French Flanders region. So the French Biere de Garde and Belgian saison are from the family known as the farmhouse ales. Okay, so this is going to say maybe a farmhouse ale, perhaps. A French farmhouse ale.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice to get some of that, knowledge, if you will.
Yeah.
Some edumacation on this.
Big fan of the education when it comes to...
Yeah, it's good to kind of know that. Like, there's some really kind of cool aspects. Obviously, we know the story behind IPAs and how they came to be and why they are the way they are. And it's nice to see this. And it makes a lot of sense that there's some innovation behind it and some reasoning justification for, keeping it for prolonged periods of time. And I'm one that says, to get through the winter, it's nice to have one of these farmhouse ales. We should have maybe waited till some fall-like temperatures.
Correct, yes.
Would have been nice.
Yep.
But yeah. All right, so the taste of this beer is labeled as, bread, candy, and sweet, but dry with low to mild bitterness. On the scent, you kind of get aromas of that candy and honey, kind of picking that up. Hopefully, we'll see what that looks like. Kind of interesting, right? Bread candy, candied bread. You don't really hear that.
No, you don't.
On tap, the Garde Your Beer has an average rating of 3.64 out of 5 and 41 check-ins. There is no 5 out of 5s.
No.
So don't bother mentioning this.
Okay, I won't.
Good.
We do have.
I think it's important to mention that there are no 5 out of 5s on this.
We do have 4 friends on Untapped that have had this beer, and they have totally at a 3.31, so a little bit lower than the average.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see kind of where we're at with this.
I don't know why Wesley doesn't want us to mention no 5 out of 5s. I think it's important to say that because guess what? You might have this beer and you might be the first 5 out of 5. Not you.
No.
The proverbial you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right? All right. You ready?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to grab our glass, grab our can, and a little condensation on her because she's warm. We're going to open her up.
I would like to mention that the reason why Ryan gave us this specific one is because him and some of the brewers, this is maybe one of their favorite styles to make, and this is one of the ones that they really enjoyed. So they're hoping that we will also enjoy this as well.
Really?
Yes. I'm thinking we will.
Well, I'm just saying, like it's nice that they tell you that.
Absolutely, right?
It's nice to know what brewers like to brew, you know?
Well, hopefully it's beer.
Time and dedication. All right. Brett, you got something else here in honor of Chris. What are we talking about here?
So, we're going to be drinking this out of a tulip glass.
Are we?
So, please use the proper glassware.
Now, the tulip glass is what we're going to be drinking out of. The producer is going to be drinking it out of a Broken Rail specialty kind of can-looking glass.
Oh, good for him. He spent the $9 in the glass. Awesome. Good job.
Look at that, $9.
He's also spent more than $9 there.
Telling you.
He literally has a tab. They have this credit card on file.
Yeah.
He pays it once a month.
What do you see here? What do you see?
I see a kind of a copper hue.
Ooh, copper. That's good.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
Limited head on it.
On yours?
Yes, on mine. Correct.
I poured mine a little bit more with a little bit more vigor.
Yeah. I'm almost feeling like this might be like close to like a brown ale, perhaps.
Or a farmhouse.
For farmhouse, yes. I mean, farmhouse do have different colors when it comes to it.
But you described this.
Yeah,
I think you did a good job. There's like a copper hue to it, right?
A caramelly as well.
On color?
Oh, yeah, on color.
For sure. What about smell?
Caramelly.
Yeah, sorry. No,
you kind of get that, almost kind of like, remember like that Christmas bark? Right? Where you have like the saltine crackers, and it's like that burnt caramel action. That's almost kind of what I'm getting out of this.
I 100% know what you mean, but I just wanted you to continue on with these hand gestures where you're using your hand as a saltine.
Saltine cracker.
Your hand was a saltine.
And then you put the caramel on it.
No, you put your hand down as if it was acting as a saltine cracker.
And then you put it in the oven. Okay. Then you press oven.
You make it at 375 for 20 minutes.
Yeah. And then you pull out of said oven.
Okay.
And then you consume
said bark.
Personal enjoyment.
There you go. Yeah. Mine has a bit of a head on it, so it's kind of hard to get some of those aromas coming out. But I'm getting that deep kind of caramel kind of smell, some of that breadiness, and I'm wondering if that caramel is going to be kind of coming a bit more with that candy-ish. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that kind of plays out in the flavor profile when we taste it.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of taste,
I know where you're going to go with this.
I'm going to start tasting this.
Oh my goodness!
All right.
Good man. I thought you're going to segue to something else, and you didn't, and thank God.
All right, we're going to talk taste, and then we're going to talk can after. Okay.
I'm trying to think of what beer this reminds me of, and I can't put my finger on it, and that's what's going to frustrate me.
Yeah. It does have brown ale kind of aspects to it, or like a deep. There's deep flavors to this.
Yes, exactly.
And right? I think that's the thing is, it's going to be a little bit more complex. Because I'm getting a different flavor as it kind of progresses through. Mm-hmm. I feel like this beer here, we might have it a bit too cold. I feel like if this warms up a bit, we're going to get some more of those like deeper, rich kind of tones coming through. So sure. I am interested. We'll probably not get to. We'll get to the ratings probably ahead of where I want the temperature of the beer to be.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But I am getting some nice deep flavor profile here, which is good.
I'm kind of getting this tasting like a carbonated liquid Werther's Original.
Okay.
Obviously, the color's a bit off with Werther's Original, but that's kind of what I'm getting, that sweet caramelly, but also that kind of like, a little bit burnt. That might just be from the malt per se, but
yeah, it'd be a darker malt for sure. Yeah, the breadiness I'm not really getting. Sweet for sure. The honey, I think that's where that sweetness is kind of coming from.
And that could be it too, right?
I think there's just that sweetness to it, which when I say deep flavor profiles too, I think maybe I should correct it or maybe give a little bit of an explanation. Rich. I'm thinking richness, which I actually just see coming up here in the next
so producer Wesley coming in there.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about the top 5 flavor profiles?
Yes. Why don't we?
You start us off.
Yes.
I'm gonna have another sip before you get to the first one.
By all means. So number one is also going to be my number one, and that is caramel. I'm getting a lot of caramel out of it, liquid caramel, if you will. Number two, this is kind of strange, but it kind of does tie in. Belgiany.
Yeah, okay. I don't see it, but like,
No.
it's not a flavor profile.
Yeah.
I mean, there are distinct Belgian beers, but like, I don't know, it runs the gambit, right?
Number three, is sweet.
Yeah, I think sweet's in there.
I think sweetness is definitely in there. So obviously, this beer being a lower checked-in beer only has 3 flavor profiles. Producer Wesley coming in here.
You got a little gas today, bud.
Yeah, Tums. You got any Tums on you?
I got Tums. We'll get you Tums in between the intermission.
So we got intermission.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I thought we were going between ends like curling.
Hey, that's exactly what we should
There
do.
it is. Anyway, so rich. I kind of mentioned that. Honey, obviously. I think honey is in there.
So the sweetness is probably coming from like the honey kind of flavor of it. I'm not getting any of the candy, and that's not listed, obviously.
No.
I'm not getting the candy so much,
Yeah,
but
fair
I
enough.
think that candy is probably that caramel, deep, kind of rich,
I think it's kind of tied in together.
honey flavor profile. Yeah.
This is a strange one from producer Wesley, and I'm just trying to figure it out. Deep.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see his reasoning behind that one. But
I think what he means is like, again, kind of that deep, rich kind of flavor, like something that is like dark in flavor, something that's robust, something that's got, character to it.
I would like to go into Untapped if I ever had the protocol to do that, and just take out the flavor profiles that like shouldn't be there. And I feel as though like deep would be one of them.
Okay.
Right. Oaky. I'm getting a little bit of oaky, or like any smokiness, oakiness out of this, or
I'm not getting a woody-ish to it.
no, and strong. I think this one would sit stronger having it at a warmer temperature. I think having this at the cooler temperature is kind of like, doesn't really drink like a 6.8. I think if you have it at, let's say about 6 or 7 degrees, I think you're going to feel that strongness a little bit more and feel that alcohol content in there.
Yeah, and if we go back to the history of this, and I think this is where we kind of did this a little bit of injustice, right? Because we're talking about the history of this beer. Back in the day, refrigeration really wasn't, that great. Your refrigeration would have been probably an outdoor kind of ice box, ice shed, anyways,
sure.
if you had something.
Yep.
So in some of the areas where this was, it'd be colder temperatures outside. But again, I don't think, they bring it in. You're not probably drinking this super cold. So, I think it's a good beer. I don't think it drinks like a 6.8.
That's kind of what
And
I'm
even
saying,
if it
right?
kind of warms up, I don't think it's going to drink like a 6.8. I think it's going to have a lot of character to it.
Yep.
It's a good beer. Good beer.
No, I think so, and I think it's one of those things that I'm not a huge, promoter of farmhouse ales and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's good for breweries to kind of branch out and do something different. And this is Broken Rail branching out and doing something different, right? With Biere de Garde, you don't see many of those Biere de Gardes labeled as that within the area. So good for them for branching out and doing something different.
Do you want to, while you got the can in your hand, you want to just give us a brief kind of like overview of what you're seeing there?
Well, pretty much. It's a little bit of a party in the back, and it almost looks like the beer has like a chastity belt on it.
Okay.
Like almost like you want to guard it. It looks like a G too for the guarding. It's that beer bottle is really tight right now. You're not letting go of this beer, almost like you're guarding it.
Kind of, yeah.
Right.
All right. Yeah, some funky colors and going with that kind of teal Broken Rail color that we also saw in
and Teslas.
the Teslas as well. All right, thoughts from Untapped users. Brett, kick us off.
So the first one is from Tony C, and his handle is Tony CH. This is a short one, but it is what it is. I mean, he stated that this is very good. It's a strong but easy drinking beer. Again, not getting the strongest, but the easy drinking part it's definitely going down a lot easier than what I thought it was going to.
Yes.
Yeah, and he rated it a 3.75 out of 5.
There you go. Sweet for that. You thought you had a short one. I got you beat. Lauren J. Handle is KYHAARA. Said as follows: sweet and malty with a fruity finish. Okay. Rated at 3.25 out of 5. Thank you, Lauren.
So I've had this beer before, and I had it at Ken's Brew Garden in Stratford. And with the brew garden there, sometimes the taps can be a little off, and it does take it's a longer pour. And I gave it a 3.25. Having this, let's say, more authentically, I think I'm going to give my rating a little bit higher.
Sure.
I think I'm going to say 3.75.
3.75, okay. Yeah, I know we kind of talked about when the best time for this beer is. I feel like if this was late November, early December, I have a picture this, a nice knitted sweater on, right?
Like an ugly Christmas
I've
sweater?
got this, maybe a cigar in hand, you know. There's smells of rich mahogany. That's what I'm saying. This is a good beer for that, right?
Okay.
Let's set this scene. Do you disagree?
Yes, I believe you're describing a scene from Anchorman. But besides the
Oh,
point.
am I? That's strange.
Bark twice if you're in Milwaukee.
But I feel like that's
Yeah.
I feel like this beer could be in that movie.
And you know what? 60% of the time, it
It
works,
works
every time. Yeah.
And that's just it. And because of that, I'm going to give this a 3.75.
Good Odin's Raven.
So producer Wesley is going to give it a 3.25. So we've got a 3.75, a 3.75, and a 3.25. We don't have the rating from Chris, as we've discussed before, but Chris will be trying this because we're generous enough to share.
For sure. And the one thing that we should know about producer Wesley is there's no touching of the hair or face. So you do have to stay away from that when you connect with him at Broken Rail because he's there a lot.
All the time.
Did we gave the total, right?
We have not.
Oh, well, then I'll do it.
I mean, you did the last one.
So I'm going to do it again.
Do it again.
So I got us a grand total of 3.58 out of 5. So we're going to round that down to 3.5.
Perfect.
And that concludes the review of Broken Rails and the beers provided for today's episode.
All right, let's sweep on to our discussion about curling. All right. Guess I'll talk about this, eh?
Yeah, you are more the expert in this.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is your episode. You lead us. You started us, but I'll do it. It's fine.
Yeah, you do it.
All right, with Ryan, he's the owner of Broken Rail, as we discussed earlier on in this episode. He's a curler.
Yeah.
Curls in the same
big curler guy.
the same club as the producer.
Yes.
That's the St.Mary's Curling Club.
And you've curled there a couple times as well.
I have.
Yes.
Many a time.
Yes. Usually on the nights that Broken Rail's not served.
I do still enjoy the Broken Rail while
I know
it is served there.
yeah.
But yeah, so let's discuss some of our curling experiences here. So, I mean, new season, same format.
Exactly.
You want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
a little
so-
round table. In other words, back and forth.
No, we got Wes.
Yeah,
We're
fair
included.
enough. You're right.
The thing with this is that there was no kind of like predetermined questions necessarily on this.
No. Just kind of talking about what we've done
All right.
curling wise.
So do you want me to start? Do you want to start? What do you want?
No, I'll start.
You want to start?
Yeah,
Give her.
because I'm usually the lead, right, when it comes to
yeah,
curling.
yeah, maybe.
I can confirm when I've curled, I am that.
So you lead. So you
Yes.
throw a light rock, eh?
I
usually?
do through a very, very, very light rock.
Delicate.
Yes. Try to place it at the top of the circle. So I curled in my last year of high school.
You could tell because you said the top of the circle.
Yeah, exactly right. Mostly because my fifth year was just I did every single sport. So curling was a sport that was offered. So my high school wasn't exactly big into the curling.
Yep.
So it was easy to make the team. We did not do good.
No.
We were second last.
Second. Okay.
Yeah, Central Huron. They were not good. So yeah, we beat them. Thank you. Yes.
So that's the last time.
Good sweeper guy though.
That was. Yeah.
Good sweeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm not falling down.
Oh gosh.
All right.
So that was the last time you curled then?
No,
high
my
school, or
family
did you go out?
reunion we run out the Seaforth Curling Club every year, so we curl.
Okay.
Yeah, so once a year we curl.
Nice.
Yeah, so still get in there every now and then. And I know we talked about there's a brewery around here that has some curling expertise, if you will, that we were thinking about doing a Bonspiel.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a
Right,
bit,
a
maybe.
little bit, but who doesn't love a good Bonspiel?
Bonspiel.
Yeah,
Great
it's a
word.
fancy word to use, actually.
Great word. All right, I'll go next. So I started curling in high school as well. Curled basically from grade 9 all the way up. And it was a great time. We were also not the greatest, but we sure had fun.
We had fun too.
We had good times for sure. And then curled in university for first year university, and then they got rid of the team because curling sometimes doesn't get funding, which is kind of interesting, being a pretty big sport in Canada.
Yeah, we're not really the Rachel Homans or the Brad Gushues of the world, right?
We're not, but I just,
Producer Wesley's pretty close though.
underfunded for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
And then, so I would play a couple Bonspiels here and there. So through some emergency services, Sunshine Dreams for Kids Bonspiels, kind of after university and throughout university and all the way up. But then I took several years off.
Retired, some would say.
Semi from the wonderful game of curling. And then there are some events that happen actually at St. Mary's Curling, which is the Cowbell. I don't know if they'll be doing it this year. I think they will. The Shindig Night, talking about breweries and tying it all together. So yeah, they have a Cowbell sponsored Shindig Nights. And so I would go out and curl on those Fridays, every other Friday for the most part. So yeah, St. Mary's is a great curling club. It's ran really well. Great people there. So if you're into curling, I definitely recommend looking at St. Mary's Curling. Maybe we'll put their information in the Instagram as well if they're also on there. So we'll get producer Wesley to do that. So now I do have my own shoes and my own broom and all that jazz.
I didn't even realize there was your own curling shoes. So
yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah. It's been nice to kind of get back into it a little bit more.
Need a winter sport.
Yeah, and curling is a good drinking sport too. You know, I mean, curling and beer really goes hand in hand.
Less productive than volleyball and beer.
Yeah,
like myself.
Yeah, for
sure. So there's that.
Yeah.
So we should talk about producer Wesley's.
Oh, what if I wasn't done talking about myself?
All right. Okay. Well, that sounds like something you do. So just keep talking.
Yeah, so I just think I'd like to get into it a little bit more and maybe get into a club. But based on kind of like residence right now, I want to make sure that we find a location and kind of stick to that location, and then maybe join a club for future, or kind of float between a couple clubs.
Good idea to have a roof over your head before you go join a curling club.
I mean, I do
priorities. It's good to have those.
I do have a roof over my head now.
Yes,
but
like
more of a permanent location would be nice to kind of set up shop and
Yes.
kind of get entrenched in the community, much like Broken Rail did in St. Mary's.
Absolutely. Look at you tying that in.
There you go.
Well done.
You want to talk about Wesley now?
Yes. So producer Wesley is kind of a curler with his fiancée, and in a couple months he can say wife as well at the St. Mary's Curling Club. And there's a mixed league there too. And he's also filled in a few times in the men's league, which the owner Ryan does play in. What's your record against him? Do you want to say what your record is? Never beat him. Ryan is better at curling than producer Wesley. Who could have thought?
Yeah, it doesn't. Never played him.
Well,
which means he never beat
Ryan
him.
is better.
Ryan's still brilliant. I'll put my money there.
Yeah, I put money there too.
Yeah.
And obviously his Broken Rail Beers are available at the bar after the club. And as I said, golf course, there's a bunch of things in St. Mary's that Broken Rail Beers are available at. We should also mention Chris, who's...
Well, we'll get there in a second. Wesley, when did you start curling? Like 2 years ago? 2 years ago.
I think it was a COVID
kind of out of nowhere then. Yeah.
Always watched it on TV, thought maybe I could do it, and then
got in there, realized
it's
not an easy sport.
No, he realized there was Teslas there.
It looks easy, but it's tougher
It's
than
a very daunting sport.
Well, there's a lot of you kill a lot of calories.
The best part about watching on TV though is when Vic Ryder says, "Make the final."
Is that the best part?
That is the best part.
I could think of several other things that make it the best part.
Please inform.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I do know what you're saying, I think.
The Scotties.
I was thinking like the Norwegian curling pants because they're pretty cool.
See, that's where we differ. I say Scotties. You say men's Norwegian curling pants. Now, Chris, as you mentioned, Chris is also an avid curler, and we'd be amiss if we didn't mention him and his curling. So he's curled a long time, longer than all of us. Not combined, but definitely longer than all of us. And he curls at a local curling club for him, and he's done that in a couple different. Actually, he's curled at a couple different clubs, and good curler.
I think he would be the skip for us.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah, who'd be the third?
The vice skip.
Yeah, the vice skip.
Tough to say.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. So
we know I'm leading, so
we should go in a curling bonspiel as the craft beer connoisseurs, bring our sign and everything, and sit in one table, pop it up, call it a day. I mean, maybe do a live podcast.
We already got the shirts.
That's what I'm saying. We come with the shirts.
Yeah.
We come with the sign. We do a live podcast. Maybe St. Mary's Curling Club, if you're listening.
Yeah.
We could come and set up, do a live podcast.
A nice POV of us sweeping.
Live podcast. We get a couple ends in, and we do a collab with Broken Rail, where we do a Hurry Hard Hell's Lager or something.
Oh, there you go.
What do you think?
I think so.
I think we could tie that all together.
I think there's a way to do that.
There's a way to do that. But I think you'd probably lead.
Yeah, for sure. 100% would.
We'd find a producer, maybe this producer. Maybe we bring Wesley back for the curling.
Yeah,
and the special episode we do. Maybe we second.
I think we're getting to the point where we might have to bring back some producers. I think our producer kind of time's running out here.
We might have to. We'll see.
I know we're bringing back one for in a couple episodes for
Okay,
sure.
okay.
I do know we're doing
You
that.
think so?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I know so, actually.
I think I know what you're saying.
I think you do.
I think I do.
Yeah, good.
All
Fine.
right. Well, let's wrap this end up.
Good job.
Thanks. And
Make the final.
We'll be back with our farewell. All right, that's all for today's episode. Oh, wait, Chris isn't here.
Yeah, I think this is what you have to say again. It's a long line for you.
Thanks again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as Craft Beer Connoisseurs releases a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for a producer special.
And make sure to tell your friends, family, and your favorite skip.
Skip.
Curling skip.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. So for all of us, producer Wesley and Chris, I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett, and together we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.